In this tutorial, I'm going to show you the basics of how to create new purchase orders so you can start processing orders quickly. Along the way, I'll show you sections of the online help that you can read to learn more. You can create POs in your PO work area, which you can access with this menu choice or this toolbar button. For this tutorial, I'm going to enter a PO from scratch, but there are many other ways that purchase orders can be built for you automatically depending on the modules that you're using. Again, we're only going to cover the basics here, so I'm going to create a PO from scratch. So here we are in my PO work area, and as you can see, I already have a couple of orders that I'm working on. Notice that I have them on hold so that they won't get processed until I'm ready. So there are a few different ways that I can create POs in my PO work area using these buttons at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to use the Add button for now, and at the end of the tutorial I'll review a couple of the other popular ways to create POs, such as how to copy existing POs or PO templates to save time. So when I click the Add button, I'll be on a blank PO header screen. Many of the fields at the top will be filled in automatically for me based on system defaults or based on my user profile. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to assign a PO number to the order. SpendMap supports manual entry of PO numbers, or you can set up one or more PO number sets to default PO numbers automatically. Next, I'm going to select a supplier from the supplier master file for the order. I don't have to use the master file. If I want, I can do a one-off supplier and just type the supplier's name and other information manually on the order. So notice that when I select Acme from the supplier master file, many of the other fields default for me. For example, these are Acme's standard terms of payment, and Acme normally gets their orders by email. Okay, let's add a couple of line items to this order. You can manage the line items using these buttons at the bottom of the screen. I'll click the Add button, and that'll bring me to the line item detail screen. Just like on the PO header, many of the fields have master files behind them, which can save me time and reduce data entry, or I can manually fill in the fields if I like. Let's start by selecting an item from the item master file. I'll click on the Lookup button to get a list of my standard items. But let's say that I don't immediately see the item that I'm looking for, so I'll click on the Search button, and I'll see the different ways that I can search for items, such as a keyword search or maybe a search by category. Notice how the supplier code is already filled in for me since I'm doing an order for Acme, so I'll just click the OK button to get a list of items that Acme supplies. Let's buy this computer. And again, notice how many of the fields got filled in for me automatically, like the price and the account coding and the full description of the item. There are obviously huge benefits when you use master files, but again, I'm not forced to. Just like when I selected the supplier for the order, I could have done a one-off item instead and keyed in the item details manually. You can also add to the item master file and other master files on the fly as you work on your new orders. For example, if I type a new item code here, SpendMap will ask if I want to add the item to the item master file right from this screen. For details on this feature, you can see this section of the online help. Also, please note that many of the fields are user-definable, so they may have different titles, they might be in different positions on the screen, or they might not be available at all based on how your system administrator set up your system. Again, we're just doing a high-level generic demo today. I guess notes and attachments are worth mentioning at this point. In addition to the description that will show on the order for the supplier's reference, you can also enter internal notes and file attachments using this button. The computer item that I just added was a regular line item. There are also other types of items in SpendMap, including blanket orders and return of goods or RMAs. You can also add description-only lines anywhere on the PO, which are commonly used for special instructions or comments for the supplier. So let's add a description-only line, but instead of manually typing the text, I'll select a boilerplate clause to save time. So there you have it. My new PO for Acme is all done and ready to go. Before I process my new order, let's quickly review the item and copy buttons, which are also popular ways to create new POs in SpendMap. If you know the item that you want to buy, but you don't know who supplies it, you can use this button to select the item, and then SpendMap will give you a list of suppliers to select from. Once you select one of the suppliers, you'll be at the PO header screen just like I showed you before. And if you would like to copy an existing PO or a PO template to save time, just use this button. All of the details will be filled in for you, and you can make any adjustments you need before processing the order. When you're finished, select Done, and you can either process your orders right away, or you can leave them in your PO work area to process later. So those are the basics of how to create POs in your PO work area. Again, for additional details, just right mouse click on this menu item to get to the online help.